And thank you for that rousing round of applause. I now know how Taylor Swift feels when she comes on stage. Welcome everybody this evening. It's always, I think, the most exciting evening of the year when we hand out the Guernseys to our teams, whether it's the men's teams or the women's team. It's always an exciting moment when we have great anticipation for what I know will be an exciting season ahead. And in particular, in our 150th year. And to think that 150 years ago at the Temperance Hall in a little suburb in Melbourne called South Melbourne, Temperance Hall players, that's a place where you're not allowed to drink. You probably never heard of that. But to think that the people in that hall back in 1874 in the Gilded Age, I can just imagine John being there, John Longmire being there, in his cravat. Could they have imagined? They could not have imagined. Clearly they could not have imagined that one day their small suburban club could become the Sydney Swans, to have 2 million fans, more than any other club, a lot more than Collingwood. For the players to be able to operate out of the Basil Sellers Richard Collis Centre in Moore Park, which I know those of you who have seen will all agree is certainly the best training administration facility in Australia and probably the world, to play on the historic SCG, and of course to have a Guernsey presentation at in this magnificent building. And I should at this point welcome our new experienced players to the club, Brodie, Taylor, Joel and James. Behind me is our version of the Yarra River. I don't know whether you guys can play football, but you're smart. You've come to the right place, and we're really thrilled to have you here. Welcome to all of the parents of all the players, particularly the players who are having their first year at the club, and I guess in particular to a couple of people who most of you may not have heard of, Hayley and Brett Kirk, with Indy coming to the club, and it's been fantastic seeing another Kirk at number 31 running around. Hopefully you're quicker than your dad, Indy. It's a big thing for anyone to get their Guernsey, whether you're Luke Parker, or Dane Rampey, or you're Will Green. It's a huge thing, and what it signifies is that for another season you're part of our tribe. You go to battle every week, week on week, week in, week out. All we can do as administrators and fans is do everything possible to make you have every opportunity to succeed. But at the end of the day, as you know, it's up to you whether you win, lose or draw. But one thing you can all be certain of is that every week when you run out in the red and white, that you have 2 million people and none more enthusiastic than those in this room, supporting you and wishing you the best, and knowing that with the support of your coaches, the medical staff, the administration, fitness staff, that you've had every possible advantage and assistance to get you to perform at your best. And I don't think in all of my time at the club I've been more optimistic about a season ahead. But I would say optimism is one thing, results are another. And if you all know how difficult it is to win games these days, every opponent is strong. And in 150 years, we've won the Premiership 10 times, so that's once every 15 years. We've been in Sydney for 42 years. We've won it twice. The last 20 years we've been in 6 grand finals and won it twice. That's once every 10 years. So it's not easy, but I've got every confidence that we have the off-field staff and the playing talent to be successful. And in particular, I'd like to thank Dane Rampey and Luke Parker for their leadership over the last few years. You've been magnificent leaders. And whilst you've taken the decision to take a step back and focus on your game, and maybe a little less pressure focusing on the rest of the squad and the club, your leadership is still required, and I've no doubt that you and the leadership group will continue the magnificent leadership that you do provide this club. But emerging as our club captain, the men's team, Callum Mills. I've known Callum pretty much since he was born. I was going to say I taught him everything he knows, but I'm not going to say that because I know more than he knows, so it doesn't quite work. But Callum, I know you're worried I'm going to say something to make you embarrassed. I'm not. I, like everybody else, wishes you the very best. I think from the day that you joined the list, I think it was very apparent to us all that you had leadership written all over your face. And we wish you all the best. We know that you're I guess a young man in my terms, with an old man's brain. You're a great leader, and I know that we'll benefit from that. And I look forward to seeing you toss the coin many times this year. Best to call heads at home, tails away, I'm told. Statistically, Adam Spencer told me to say that. Something to do with the rotation of the earth. Doesn't matter, Adam. Callum will forget. But I know that we're in good hands, and I thank everyone. Please, everyone enjoy the evening and have a good time, and look forward to a really, really exciting 2024.